All right, we are live as of now. Very important announcement, as you can see. In fact, I'm going to bring it up here. I have an extra banner. If you comment in this stream tonight with hashtag Turkey Jam 2020 or 2021 or anything like kind of similar to that, you will be automatically entered in the running to get 2 tickets to Turkey Jam
giveaway alert,
which is on November 24th at 6:30 p.m.
the first annual.
It's the first annual. First annual, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Inaugural.
First annual Lehigh Valley Turkey Jam with the Groove Merchants we're going to talk about in a minute. But again, comment with anything. Oh, hey, Phil, how's it going?
Hey, how are you? I was going to comment on this.
Yeah, yes. Turkey Jam 2021 to be entered. We have 2 tickets. We would love to give them away in the chat. If we don't give them away in the chat, then we're going to give them away afterwards. So please
sometime
get in
prior to Thanksgiving. I was going to also comment, we are hella official tonight. We both got collared shirts on.
I haven't had time to change.
You're not supposed to say that out loud.
We're talking with a tried and true Lehigh Valley band. It's exciting.
Yes. And, hometown headliner.
We want to get right into it. So let's play one of their more recent music videos from the Groove Merchants.
Yeah.
Never climbed a mountain, and my ship ain't never set sail. But to get to you, babe, I'd wear out these feet, walking all the way along the Appalachian Trail. Cause you and me, babe, we could be watching that sunrise till the end of time. You're the sweetest thing I've ever seen. My midnight mountain going.
It's time to bring them in.
Yeah, it's time to bring them in.
All right, welcome the Groove Merchants. Hey guys, can you hear us?
Oh,
hey.
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Excellent. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So I have a band lineup here, but I think it differs from the current band I'm looking at. So would you guys be so kind as to introduce yourselves?
For sure. We have John Evan Groom III on the bass. This is Bree Perry on the background vocals. Luke Farracone on the guitar right here, and my name is Ty Valone on the lead vocals and guitar as well. So we're without Peter Snyder on drums tonight, but he sends his thoughts and spiritual guidance along.
He can enter to win those Turkey Jam tickets.
He probably could.
Turkey Jam 2021.
Oh yeah.
And spiritual guidance always a good thing.
Before we get into all your background stuff, let's talk about Turkey Jam. Because you had mentioned before we started here that this was something that you came up with or you worked really hard on. So I'm going to bring the image back on screen here, but could you talk a little bit about where this came from?
Yeah. So Luke and I kind of had the idea, actually, probably 2 years ago now, because we had COVID, in there between that kind of screwed everything up. But Luke kind of, had the idea of another band that we're good friends with and follow. They have some guys in there that play in another band that is from the Baltimore area that does kind of a Thanksgiving Eve show every year, and have turned it into kind of an annual thing that really draws an awesome crowd. And we were like, we can definitely do something like that in the Lehigh Valley. We have so many great friends who are musicians and comedians and artists, and Thanksgiving Eve is such a great night because everybody wants to go out and have fun because they're all back home. And, Steel Stacks is...
It's a joyous evening for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And, what better place to do it than Steel Stacks, which is, the citadel of arts and music in the Lehigh Valley. So we hit them up and we were like, hey, we have this idea and here's the lineup we want to have. And here's kind of, our vision. And we, kind of corralled all the other bands and comedians and artists, and thankfully they were like, yes, we'll do this. And
we haven't done anything in a
Imagine
while.
if they were all just like, dude, it's Thanksgiving.
yeah. So hopefully it goes well, and they want to do it again next year.
No, it actually is a phenomenal idea, and especially, I mean, we have like we're a university town, like college kids should be into this, and just anybody. That night is definitely the night to go out. Like that's the night to just go out. You can sleep in the next day and still not kind of ruin your Thanksgiving.
Well, even probably more so now because last year that night was like, don't go out, right? We're like,
For
everyone
sure.
stay home. And now it's like we're getting closer to being able to kind of let loose a little bit. So I'm sure the energy will be different.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
cool too to mix it with music and comedy and a host
That's
and all
kinda
that
what
kind of
we
stuff. I think that's going to make it amazing.
We were saying like, what, okay, it's Thanksgiving Eve. Everybody wants to go out. You could go out and hear, a party band play some covers all night long. No offense.
That's all good.
Bree is also an excellent vocalist in a party band herself.
Yeah.
But we were like, you could hear that, or you could go celebrate local original art and music and create this kind of community around that and celebrate that, when everybody's home for the holidays and who give thanks to all of the amazing, music and art and culture that we have in the Lehigh Valley, where myself and Bree grew up, and as a band we kind of got our roots, and so thankfully again, like they went for it, and we hope it's an awesome time.
Yeah, and as a reminder, we have these 2 tickets to give away.
Yeah.
And it is not only yourselves, which we'll definitely get into your story, but Trouble City All Stars, which you guys play together quite a bit over different festivals and different times, and the sounds are different but yet work together. And one of my favorite moments is there was a time at which all 12 of you would be on stage at the same time, and you would play a couple songs together. Are you guys planning on doing that night?
I mean, I can't divulge too many of our trade secrets, but that may or may not
played. Well,
that may or may not be in the cards. Yeah.
No, that is super fun.
Do you feel like even more so now that people are jonesing for that live music experience? It's not just, hey, I'm gonna go out. I just want to go out to the bar to see friends. It's like I want to go out and experience something. I've been like cooped up for however long.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a big
Try not to talk too much.
That's a resounding yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
a big inspiration to do the Turkey Jam was we played at Steel Stacks in May. And that was the first gig we had played in maybe 7 or so months.
Yeah.
And that was with Trouble City too.
I was gonna say with Trouble City.
Yeah. We had been experimenting with singers and horn players and stuff, so we put all these tunes together and had tried to put together like a special night, and it turned out awesome, and we almost sold it out, which was kind of shocking to us. So we kind of tried to parlay that into this and thought, so yeah, to answer your question, I think people were really eager to come out then, and that still seems to be the case now.
Yeah. And then Music Fest too, which we'll get to later on, but that was obviously packed as well.
Yeah. It was awesome. Once they said they were going to go back to in person, it was cool. I think what was also cool was, speaking of the Lehigh Valley and Lehigh Valley bands, because there were still a lot of cancellations or stuff from last year. I think there were a lot of opportunities for other great local bands to have spots where maybe they wouldn't normally have, like in the big Fest Plots tent or on
you're right.
stage outside. You know what I mean? So that was really cool. Hopefully they keep that going.
That stage on Main Street, I love the one that was up closer to Broad Street, like right by Red Stag there. It was just like nighttime. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that was the first stage we ever played on at Music Fest.
Okay.
When we did that one, it was where it used to be, like by Mama Nina's. But now they moved it up, like you said, by the Red Stag, and I think that spot works a little bit better. But that's a very cool stage. We were baking in the sun that day though too. I got one this year. Yeah.
So you're from the Lehigh Valley. Can we talk about that a little bit? Where did for the people that are from the Lehigh Valley in this, where'd you grow up? How did you first initially get involved in music? I know that the band originates from Kutztown, but kind of how did you get to Kutztown?
Well, first we crossed the 7 layers of the candy cane forest,
which is Route 78 and 22.
Yeah. So I'm from. I was born in Bethlehem, but then when I was very young, moved to Coopersburg, and so grew up in Coopersburg, and went to Southern Lehigh High School. Was kind of involved in a lot of music stuff there, and then went to Kutztown, and that's where I met John Evan and Luke, and we kind of formed there through various means. And then thankfully that helped us create a pipeline of other Kutztown friends that we, one way or another, have shoehorned into the band. Like Peter Snyder on drums, who's not here right now, but he was a couple years behind us. And Bree went to Kutztown as well. I'll actually let her give you her Lehigh Valley origins as well.
Yeah. So, well, they all went to Kutztown at their time. I'm younger. So, so sorry.
In the before times.
So I grew up in the Allentown area. I went to Parkland High School. I was really involved in that school. And then I went to Kutztown for music, and I actually went to Kutztown at the same time that Peter Snyder did, but I believe that he was 2 years or 3 years ahead of me. One of those two. I think he was 2 years ahead of me.
Yeah.
But
Jeez, we're old, man.
Yeah. So sorry. But yeah, I met Peter when I was at Kutztown, and eventually he asked me hey, you should come out and see a show. So I drove to, I think, Reading. It was Mike's.
Yeah, Mike's
Tavern.
Shouts out to Mike's Tavern.
Mike's
Reading,
Tavern.
Reading today.
And I saw the guys, and I think it was a few months ago, the Sellersville show. Peter actually asked me if I would be able to come on board with the guys, and I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
And
like Luke said, we were, we've been experimenting with kind of backup singers and stuff ever since we did that. So that video you showed at the top was from a series that live EP we did live at Morgan Creek. And one of the tracks on that tune, we have backup singers on, and that was the first time we'd really used backup singers in a live kind of performance setting. Everything we'd done before that had been overdubs or had backup, one or two backup singers in the studio. And so we kind of really liked how that turned out, and we were let's kind of keep going with this. And then based on availability and the vibe of what we want to do, we landed hit up Casey, and then we hit up our other good friend Casey McGinty, who sadly won't be with us at Turkey Jam. She is in London studying music there, but we have
Where's her priorities?
I know, right? You're yo, it's Thanksgiving. Come on,
Yeah,
Turkey
seriously.
Jam's going on.
But we have another great vocalist, Rebecca Connolly, who's another.
Yeah, I know Rebecca. She sang for us our Advent calendar last year.
Oh yeah.
Live Advent. Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, so she's going to be singing with Bree at Turkey Jam, and hopefully many more after that. But we're psyched, man. It's coming together.
The other person is sometimes she sings for Fig for a Kiss too, doesn't she? Or plays for them.
That's Casey. Yeah.
Casey's got it. Yeah. That's what I mean. Is each one of these people are just they have a lot of other cool things Lehigh Valley oriented going on.
Yeah. And again, that was the whole that was kind of the whole idea behind the show. It was there's this great kind of family and community between, like you said, we've done more than enough shows with Trouble City All Stars, but it's this kind of everybody has your back sort of thing of there's this kind of network of people that are always supporting one another, which you don't always get in a local music community.
You're right. So we've been interviewing other bands, and a lot of them are ones who performed at Music Fest but are from other parts of the country, and they almost always are commenting about this wonderful energy of Bethlehem, Lehigh Valley Music Fest, whatever, where it's you guys all like each other, and the musicians all like each other. The people who are the sound check people actually care. They actually really are always commenting about. That's why they come back. That's why they drive 8 hours to perform here, is because it's a wonderful place to be. And so there's something special that we have here that a lot of people just want a piece of.
I think sometimes we, as performers from there, can take it for granted a little bit too. We've kind of had a experience like that with a good friend of ours. His name's Johnny Hayes, and he has some solo stuff, and he has his own band, Johnny Hayes and the Love Seats. He's from Mobile, Alabama, and we connected with him at the Blues and Barbecue Festival in Allentown a few years ago.
Yep.
And then from there, became friends, and he brought us down to to Nashville to do a couple shows down there, and so we brought him over to the Funhouse during Music Fest, but he was kind of saying the same thing, like, this is so great. And I think when you're from there, you just think like, oh yeah, it's Music Fest again. You know what I mean? Because you just kind of grow up around it. But I think it's easy to forget how, like you said, from people who are out of town, you know, how great of an experience it really is.
Totally.
How was it for you? Like, when you first started out, did you do a lot of Lehigh Valley gigging? Like, where were some of the places? Was it mostly in Kutztown, Reading? How were you when you first started out, like in 2012 or so?
Kutztown Pub.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, actually, it was the art gallery.
So
that was our first.
Yeah,
that was the real
our
first.
first two like performances were in the Eckhouse Art Gallery, RIP. I think, I don't know if it's still open.
I think it's gone.
And which is like an art gallery on Main Street in Kutztown, and then the
You're making yourself feel old.
K-Town. I know. There's 29-year-old art majors listening to this somewhere, being like, "Oh God!" And like John Evans said, the K-Town Pub. Yeah, we played at the K-Town Pub twice in 1 month, because back then I was like, this is a great business decision. This will never go wrong.
And during that time frame, you guys had from my observing of attending some of your gigs, a little bit of an evolution where there was more of a, like, in addition to the core band, it was a little bit more of a horn-based like section, which now has turned into this organ. And that's why I loved what we played at the top, because it actually brought both together, where it just sounds like you're going to church. I mean, like, it just sounds so good all together. That Southern like keyboard kind of thing going with the horns. I don't know. It just sounds wonderful together. I feel like I've not seen that live, because it used to be horns, then it was organs. I would love it to be where it's all of that coming together. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, the first time we really kind of put them both together was probably when we played at the Sellersville Theater this past July. That was a 9-piece band. So we had 2 horns, organ, 2 backup singers, and then the core quartet.
That's
and like
special to check out, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. Because before that, like you said, it had either been just a horn section, like we had a standalone trumpet player that traveled with us for a while. Every now and then that would turn into like, 3 horns or 2 horns. And then we got away from that, and it was just keys, which is also awesome.
Yes.
Finally, we got crazy enough to like put them all together, and thankfully it sounded okay. And so that's what we're gonna bring to Turkey Jam. But I think the cool thing is, now that we kind of have it, it can kind of be this like rotating amalgamation, depending on the venue and the performance and what we want to do. Of like, it'll be just the quartet, or maybe it'll just be a 5-piece with keys, or maybe it'll just be the quartet with 2 horns, or just keys and horns, or just organ and vocals, or just whatever,
Infinite.
Or live streaming on Facebook. Either way. So how was it for you guys? I mean, you kind of know some of the answer to this question, but the last year and a half sucked for everybody. How was it for you in terms of, did you have to take a touring hiatus? Did you focus more on writing? Like, what did you do?
I think we took a large break, like mostly everyone else did. I think, admittingly, the first month I was liking it. You realize how burnt out you get, and you just playing all the time, and that whole lifestyle can get a bit much. So that was great. But then after the month, I was totally done with it personally. And then we did some like collaborative online video things, and we did this live EP, which kept us moving. Definitely. So that was definitely a big motivator to do that and get that done. And it's cool to see how it's parlayed into this stuff, and it's gotten play on XPN, which we're really grateful for.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we kept moving, but it was definitely slow, and but we organized things like that. So that's definitely a silver lining.
Yeah, I think that helped, because it gave us the time to, because we didn't want to, because a lot of guys, I know, I sound like a Faulkner novel. Shout out to any English majors from Kutztown that are listening.
Now 29-year-old literary majors are going.
A lot of people really dug into and leaned into like the live streams and the Venmo tip jars and the stuff like that. Which, like we said, we kind of did. We did like 1 or 2 kind of like split screen videos, but with us all not living in the same space, it's kind of hard. So we were like, okay, rather than devote our time and resources to that, let's devote it to, creating this like the stuff for this live EP, and then rehearsing and getting the kind of full 9-piece band together that we could then take to Sellersville. So I think, and I think, like Luke said, that was the silver lining, because I think, we wanted to do the Turkey Jam thing, Thanksgiving of 2020. But I think the silver lining is, I think maybe now we're even a little bit more prepared than we would have been then, because now we have this bigger band and some tunes that feature, all of those voices. And I think it will be really cool.
Yeah. And I think you going with a live EP is a smart move, because while your studio recordings are solid, and I mean this in all the most respect I could possibly give, like, it's nothing compared to your live show. So I think recording you live was a great idea.
I'll that'll segue me into some Music Fest videos.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is from right.
And this is a great, like, the startup groove. Luke solo going on.
Do I cut to that other one?
Hang on. We gotta show Ty getting that crowd in.
Yeah, it's like 110 degrees.
Oh yeah.
210.
Yeah, we keep joking that these should be called hot as balls plots.
Yeah, rename it.
Yeah.
So how is that, as a person who grew up in Bethlehem, been around Music Fest, I'm assuming, since you were a little kid, how does that feel to play on the real stage of Music Fest? Like that must have been pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's rad, man.
I mean,
yeah, like you said, you're going to the thing since, literally before you could walk. My mom's like carrying me around in the polka tents and stuff. And so then to come back and play there, like when we did, I think 2019, we played on the Levitt Pavilion stage for like the preview night.
Yep, that's right.
So
I was there for that. Yeah.
Thank you. That was awesome. That was very surreal. So it's cool because, again, I think you take for granted like the scope of that. I mean, it's the largest free music festival in North America. You know what I mean? But when you grow up around there, and Bree probably agrees, you just think like, oh, it's Music Fest again. You know what I mean? Because it's just
it's old hat. Like you're used to the deep fried Oreos.
Yeah,
by that point.
I will say I do have. You do get a different. You do look at it through a different lens once you become a working musician during Music Fest. You know what I mean? Because it's the best time of year and also the most abysmal time of year at the same time.
So before we do, because you are, thankfully, you guys are going to be nice enough to play us a song. I want to talk a little bit more about the Lehigh Valley. Like we're fans of all the venues. Where are some of your? I don't want to leave anybody out, of course. We love them all, but where are some of your favorite places to play, or some that you have some of the most favorite memories from?
Favorite memory. Yeah, I was trying to think of favorite memory. I mean, I think we got to give love to the Fun House.
Absolutely.
That was actually probably after we went through all the art galleries and the one of two bars in Kutztown. That was probably like the first like proper place that we played, like outside of the Kutztown, like a proper like, okay, we're paying you to play music for this time now, right. Which you're prepared for it or you're not, and you find out real quick. But
and for those who don't, like for those who aren't familiar, we're talking about the Fun House in South Bethlehem on 4th Street, which is it's a small place, but some of the
where fun people meet
famous
acts. It's a house that's fun.
Yeah, man. The good old fun hole. But yeah, the Fun House. I think we got to give up to them. Also the Wooden Match.
Yep.
Yeah, a couple places in Allentown have been great. Like we were fortunate enough to play at the Blues Brews and Barbecue Festival.
I caught you guys there the 1 year, probably 2
yeah,
years.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so that's been great. Southside 313 on 3rd Street in Bethlehem. When we were starting out, we hit there up as well. And then a lot of stuff at Steel Stacks, like on that little town square stage.
Yep.
Right outside the Arts Quest Center, we did a few of those, and that's why it's finally awesome to now for Turkey Jam finally be up in the Music Fest Cafe in that in their premiere stage. So yeah, it's cool. But favorite memories. The first one that came to mind. Do you remember the one where we went in and it was fine and we left and it was snowing really bad and then we had to drive home?
Yeah,
do you remember that?
I do. Yes.
That sucked. We were at the Fun House, and this was in the wintertime of like 2016.
Okay.
And they were calling for snow. And I was like, are we still going to have the show? And it's the Fun House. So they were like, of course we're still going to have it.
We're not closing.
362 nights a year live
And
music.
so, dude, for real. And so then literally we go in and it's fine. And then we play the show until 2 a.m. And then we go outside to leave. And it's literally like at least a foot of snow. And this is at like 2-3 in the morning, like before the
And are you
clouds.
driving back to Kutztown, or at least?
At the time,
Right.
yeah.
Back to Philly.
Oh, that's.
Oh yeah, John Evan was
Yeah.
John Evan was doing an internship here in Philly at the time. So he was driving back to Philly. Luke and I were both driving back to Kutztown because I think that was our last year there. And I remember driving behind a tractor trailer on 78 because he was like packing down the snow like with the tires. Yeah, but hey, for the love of the game, man.
That's right. Well, we're talking about Turkey Jam. We are fortunate enough to get you guys to play a little bit ahead of that. And if you're ready to go, Phil and I can jump out. We'll let you play something and then talk about, some of the things that you have coming up.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we're going to get out of here. So we're going to give you guys a mic for a little bit.
Awesome. So this is a new tune that we are actually debuting right here on Lehigh Valley with Love. So thank you for having it. Well, we debuted it at Bobstock, but we're debuting it again here. Shouts out to Bob. So this is a tune called "Drown in Your Love." We hope it sounds good. Baby, something you should know. Yeah, girl, you know you love me when it matters most. The inside to the outside, babe. From the ceiling to the floor. I love you right down to the bones. Yeah, your love is like a river, babe. Like a river. The river's always reached. Like a river. Drown in your love, baby. I want you to drown with me. Baby. Oh, I want that new speed of life. They put it right there for your eyes. Yeah. Try again. All I need are floorboards, babe. Yeah. Oh, they got that color of this hard to fade. Oh, I said. Yeah, your love is like a river, babe. Like a river. like a river. I'm gonna drown in your love. I want you to drown, 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 drown with me. Yeah, I love you in the morning, babe. Said I love you when the water's cold. You know I love you without warning, babe. Oh, I love you when the river's made you strong. Like a river. Like a river. La, 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 oh, yeah. Drown, 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 drown with me. Yeah. Oh, from the river to the mountain, yeah, to the Frankfurt line. Oh, you know that. Oh, I got to tell the world and you. Oh, that's it. Yeah, you know you're coming like a river, babe. Like a river. Oh, your river's always free to see. Yeah. Like a river. Oh, Santa, I just want to drown in your love. And I want you to drown, drown, drown. Till my dad, I want you to drown, drown, oh, baby, baby. Drown, drown, drown with me.
Beautiful.
Play their internet connection into submission. That was fantastic. That was great.
You
Thank
single-handedly
guys. That
took
was
Comcast
fantastic.
down.
What?
So, well,
Um,
we think that is worthy of being played at Turkey Jam. That was fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. And there was a question I wanted to ask, and then that's perfect for it. Hopefully, people were able to enjoy it. But you guys do this Stank Face Friday, I believe it is.
Yeah.
which is fantastic. Because there's obviously a lot of emotion and just power that goes into these things that sometimes you're not making the prettiest of faces.
Yeah. I like Carlos Santana was once talking about it, and he said that's when you're hitting that note the way you need to hit it, you're leaving Earth, and that's gravity pulling you back. So that's the way I think about it.
Yeah.
Or sometimes in Luke's case, they're getting the smelling salts going. But either way,
Yeah, but what's even funny about that too is like Slingshot Dakota does the same thing. So again, Bethlehem representing Stank Phase big time. It should be a coffee table book where you just like can flip through it and everyone's making all those faces.
Sort of like a hashtag.
I would actually look at
read
that.
that,
I would
yeah.
read that.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're onto something right there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about. We know that you have Turkey Jam coming up, but where can people find out more about you? You know, get to learn some more music. Hit up your website and your socials.
Yeah. What else do you want to promote?
Yeah, our website's a great place, or our Instagram, and you can find our Instagram through our website. So we have Turkey Jam obviously coming up on the 24th, and then we have a few things here and there. We're going to be at the Fun House, I think, the first beginning of December, which will be our first time back there since the summertime.
Nice.
So that's going to be a good bash. And then just confirmed, we can actually announce here, we're going to be at the Wooden Match for New Year's Eve.
Oh wow.
From
Nice,
9:30 to 12:30, so you can ring in 2022 and smoke a nice cigar and come party with us, and it should be a good time. And then we're working on some stuff in the Philly area for the new year, and then we hope to be back at the Sellersville Theater, and then hopefully back, at Steel Stacks and stuff real soon too. And then of course, Music Fest next summer as well, hopefully.
For sure.
So,
Absolutely.
Do you ever think you'd be playing these nice venues? When you first started in the basement in Kutztown. And...
Sometimes I wish we could go back to the basements, honestly.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, you guys are welcome to play in my basement anytime you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a big basement. You could
Yes.
you could get the whole 10-piece in there.
Yep, West Bethlehem. We could get some people over here. But anyway, no, it's true. Like Funhouse is always a great sound there.
Absolutely.
That's why we love it, because it's the best basement in Bethlehem.
It is funny. It was making me think. Playing these
100%.
venues, they're awesome, and the Sellersville Theater was awesome, and obviously Arts Quest and all these are phenomenal. I'm so grateful to be there. But when I think of the Lehigh Valley music scene and some of the best nights I've had, I feel like we're rolling up to the Funhouse, and it's very kind of relaxed, and it's just a regular gig, and then you're playing it, and it's just like, not to be all like hokey pokey, but it is kind of magical. And then guys who are playing on the street come up, and it's like 1 a.m, and you're playing like the wildest shit, and then it's like a really cool environment. People come and sing, and, and I feel like for me that's kind of like the crux of the
was great.
Lehigh scene, and
For
moments
sure.
like that.
Yeah, because even right next door is Godfrey Daniels, which is like the
Right.
quietest
Yeah.
listening room, and it's got
Yeah.
such history to it.
We actually
And then the
played there.
Funhouse doesn't
Yeah.
even have a lock on the men's room bathroom door.
Yeah.
I think
They
they
do now.
upgraded.
And they're literally
Yeah, they
right next to each
upgraded.
other.
It's a padlock.
That's also cool too. That when we play the Funhouse, we'd always have to start later, or oftentimes because there would be a show next door, so you peek your head in there,
Yeah.
and so you
Oh,
would
yeah.
play it,
Yeah.
check it out,
Yeah.
and then go make a bunch of noise, and it's
Yeah.
cool. Just
But that's Lehigh Valley, man.
That's what I mean. It's like,
That's
that
fantastic, yeah.
boils it right down right there. Those two
It is
establishments
amazing how
literally
these two
right
like
next door.
treasure. Yeah, they're right next to each other,
Yeah.
and
We
they're
put
so
that Godfrey
like,
Daniels
end of
one-
the spectrum.
We played at Godfrey Daniels once, and we did like a sit down, kind of a set, kind of like this, and we went in. We were like, "Yeah, this is like cheating on your wife, but she knows about it," which I'm not condoning, by the way.
They're gonna make T-shirts for that.
yeah.
But yeah, it's
That would,
awesome.
that would be a great like double like you play Godfrey Daniels from like 8 to 10,
That's actually
some sort of
what
like acoustic
probably
That was
set
fun.
with a
Yeah.
talk back, like an NPR kind of thing, and then you go next door and you rip shots and you just like
Yeah.
bury the blues
Why
guitar
not?
for the rest of the night.
That's
Yeah,
the both worlds.
But I think that's where the energy comes from. Like you were saying before, you really like the live EP and stuff like that. And I think that's why is because when we started in Kutztown, that's all we had was like art galleries and like
Yep.
basement shows where our drummer was like playing on pipes and shit. But everybody's like right in your face, and we kind of like thrived on that. And it was also just a quartet back then, so it was essentially a power trio. And then I would play guitar every now and then, and so it was all like wild guitar solos and like Led Zeppelin covers and stuff, which we still kind of do now. But we kind of like you feed on that energy, and everybody's right in your face, and when that's the case, like you have no choice, because when people are that close and that intimate, and they see 2 guitar amps and a drum and a bass, you have no choice but to take it to that
Yeah,
level.
you got to bring it and you got to connect with it.
that's what they want. But we thrive on that. I think when you feel the energy in places like the Funhouse or the Wooden Match, or rooms like that, it's really great. And so that's why I think our goal when we now are doing these bigger venues like Sellersville and Turkey Jam and stuff like that is to, create that same energy, but utilize the bigger space and like the room for more voices and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But sometimes they get mad at me because I'm like, I like jump out and I like go into the aisles and I like try to get people up, and the ushers are like, they have to stay in their seats, and I'm like, not tonight.
No.
So again, we're looking for. I'm bringing the image back on the screen here. Looking forward to it. Turkey Jam. We did have.
If you don't win, then definitely purchase the tickets.
Yeah, Mike Ferrari is
if you submitted and didn't win, go to the show. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, Mike Ferrari won, so we'll get in touch with you, Mike. We appreciate everybody playing along. He did comment with it, so we do have a winner. We'll get in touch with him. If that doesn't work out, we'll be sure to do it through social media. But thank you guys so much for coming out, and I mean it. That song was phenomenal. Like we're ecstatic that we were able to kind of play.
Will we see you guys? Will we see you guys at Turkey Jam?
I'm gonna try and make it
historically.
Come on now.
I'm a dad. I gotta double check a couple things, but I can sneak out.
Great family. Bummer.
Dude, come over to my sister's house the next day. We'll get you straightened out.
We appreciate being
here.
here.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you all for
Group
coming
Merchants,
on and for playing. It's quite an honor for us.
Thank you guys.
Hey, stick around. We're gonna end the stream, but stick around for a second. Thank you to everybody who listened and watched, and we appreciate it. Check out groovemerchantsmusic.com. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.